Hello, dear students and listeners. Today is the lecture number 2, processes and cycles. This is very interesting and important topic because this is the main topic of thermodynamics because it's all based on processes, and processes are generally occur in different cycles. Okay, let's consider the following cycle. Any, any change that the system undergoes from one equilibrium state to another, it's called process. And the series of states through which a system passes during process is called the path of the process, which is pretty simple to understand. For example, we have water, and we put it in an oven or on a cooking machine, or we heat it generally, which means that water goes to one position with the temperature of 20 degrees, for example, to second one to 100 degrees or the 200 degrees centigrade. This is the path of the process, and the process itself is the heating process, right? The equilibrium states are water with 20 degrees temperature and the 100 degrees. To describe a process completely, one should specify the initial and final states of the process, as well as the path it follows and the interaction with the surroundings. When the process proceeds in such manner that the system remains infinitesimally close to equilibrium state at all times, it's called quasi-static or quasi-equilibrium process. A quasi-equilibrium process can be viewed as a sufficiently slow process that allows the system to adjust itself internally so that properties of one part of the system do not change any faster than those at the other parts. For example, the slow compression process diagrams, plotted by employing the thermodynamic properties as coordinates, are very useful in visualizing the process. Some common properties that are used as coordinates are temperature, pressure, and volume, or specific volume, divided by the kilogram or the cubic meters. Figure shows the PV diagram of a compression process of a gas. The initial state in which the compression process is about to start is shown at as the point 1. As you may understand, under the compression processes, the volume of the gas, it could be the specific volume, it could be just the volume of the gas, will change and will decrease. As you can see, while the pressure of while the volume of the gas decreases, the pressure of the gas increases, and the which generally shown in this path of the process. In the second point, we have lower volume and have higher pressure, which generally means that we have a higher pressure or temperature. The prefix iso is often used to designate a process for which a particular property remains constant. An isothermal process, for example, is a process during which temperature remains constant. An isobaric process is a process during which the pressure remains constant. An isochoric or isometric process is a process during which the specific volume remains constant. A system is said to have undergone a cycle if it returns to its initial state at the end of the process. That is, for a cycle, the initial and final states are identical. The terms steady and uniform are used frequently in engineering, and thus it is important to have a clear understanding of the meanings. The term steady implies no change with time. The opposite of steady is unsteady or transient. The term uniform, however, implies no change with location or a specific region. These meanings are consistent with the everyday use: steady, girlfriend, uniform properties, and also. A large number of engineering devices operate for long periods of time under the same conditions, and they are classified as steady flow devices. Processes involving such devices can represent response reasonably well by somewhat idealized process called steady flow process, which can be defined as a process during which a fluid flows through a control volume steadily, which means that generally the pressure, the temperature, and the mass flow of the fluid does not change during some period of time. That is, the fluid properties can change from point to point within the control volume, but at any fixed point they remain the same during the entire process. Therefore, the volume, the mass, and the total energy content of the control volume remain constant during a steady flow process. As you can see at this picture, the mass in, mass out is equal no matter the changes in time. Temperature and the Deros law of thermodynamics. It is a common experience that a cup of hot coffee left on the table eventually cools off and cold drink eventually warms up. That is, when a body is brought into contact with another body that it is a different temperature, heat is transferred from the body to a higher temperature to the one at lower temperature until both bodies attain the same temperature. We can see that if we close iron and copper in one box, after some period of time the temperature will equalize, which means that the iron and copper will have the same temperature, which code is thermal equilibrium. The zeroth law of thermodynamics state that is, if two bodies are in thermal equilibrium with a third body, they are also in thermal equilibrium with each other. Well, it's logical and pretty simple. Imagine that you have iron, copper, and some other type of metal with three different temperatures. The first two eventually will have the same temperature, will reach thermal equilibrium, and the third one will reach the thermal equilibrium after some time, which means that the zeroth law of thermodynamics works. However, it cannot be concluded from the other laws of thermodynamics, and it serves as a basis for the validity of temperature measurement. By replacing the third body with thermometer, the zeroth law can be restated as two bodies are in thermal equilibrium if both have the same temperature, reading even if they are not in contact. So let's talk about temperature scales. As you may know, in CIS countries we are using generally one temperature, it's degrees of Celsius, but in international system the Kelvin is used as the measurement of temperature. The temperature scales used in CIS and in English system today are the Celsius scale, formerly called the centigrade. In 1948 it was renamed after the Swedish astronomer Celsius, who devised it, and the Fahrenheit scale, named after German instrument maker Fahrenheit, which is not widely used in Kazakhstan. On the Celsius scale, the ice and steam points were originally assigned to the values of 100, 0 and 100. The corresponding values of the Fahrenheit scale are 32 and 212. These are often referred to as two-point scales since the temperature was assigned to different points. In thermodynamics, it is very desired to have a temperature scale that is independent of the properties of any substances. Such a temperature scale is called the thermodynamic temperature scale, which is developed later in conjunction with the second law of thermodynamics. The thermodynamic temperature scale in the System International is the Kelvin scale, named after Lord Kelvin. The temperature unit on the scale is the Kelvin, which is designed by K, not degree K. The degree symbol was officially dropped from Kelvin in 1967. The lowest temperature on the Kelvin scale is the absolute zero, or 0 Kelvin. Then it follows that only one non-zero reference point needs to be assigned to establish the slope of this line scheme. Using non-conventional refrigerating techniques, scientists have approached absolute 0 Kelvin. That's it for this lecture. Thank you for your attention.